folks join in. We're still getting everything set up in the back, but we are going to do a little chat here about Hurricane Ida. You see it there, and what impacts this hurricane could possibly have right here in the Mid-South. And we will have impacts from this storm right here in Memphis. Let me go grab my phone while we're waiting on everybody to join in, just so I can read some comments. Again, we're live right now on our Local 24 News app. We're also going to be live on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook right now, if you have any questions, drop those down below and I will be checking in on those and seeing if I can answer some of those questions. It's kind of an interesting opportunity here because you can't really talk to me when I'm on TV. So now that we're on Facebook, we can do some communication here and you guys can talk back and forth. So we're going to give that just a little bit longer and let some of these folks join on in here. Let's see here. Okay. Again, Hurricane Ida right now in southeastern Louisiana, just to the north of Houma, Louisiana. There you see New Orleans, and eventually even into the southern portion of Mississippi. So it is going to be on the rough side. So we are going to be watching that carefully. Okay, there is the app notification. So we should have a few more folks joining in here within the next couple of minutes. So again, we're going to give it just a little bit longer. We've got the little crawler running at the bottom of the screen, something new we're trying. Just kind of a more long form kind of thing. People like to talk about the weather, so do I. So we're going to hop on and discuss what is happening right now. Let me make sure, first of all, this crawler goes away from the screen. We don't want to make people upset and have it down at the bottom of the screen too much. So we're going to make sure that goes away. There it goes. And that is good. So let's jump back over here. Again, we're going to let just a couple more folks join in and make sure everybody is joined in and watching. Okay, so we've got the live up. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to drop some comments. You can find me on Twitter at WeatherTrevor, and we will be able to talk somehow. Somehow you can get in touch with me and I will try to answer some of your questions. But again, right now, Hurricane Ida, a significant storm blowing into southern Louisiana. Winds are still 130 miles an hour as this storm pushes off to the north and west. Let's put this into motion here because that's going to give us an idea of how fast or how not fast the storm is moving. Unfortunately, 10 miles an hour is all this is moving. So imagine how fast you walk. That's probably 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. You can probably run faster than what this hurricane is moving right now. So it is going to be a long, long night for New Orleans, for Baton Rouge, even over toward Natchez, Mississippi. They're going to get it rough out of this storm, unfortunately. Horrible news for these folks down here. Another threat we have to worry about is the tornado potential along the coast. That little red box you saw there north of Gulfport, that was a tornado warning. That has since been allowed to expire, but all of these little bands that are coming up from the storm have the potential to produce tornadoes, okay? So let's put a pause on this, and what we'll do, we'll zoom on in here, and I want you to show you the eye and just talk about what's going on in here for just a little bit. So there's Thibodaux, if you know Nicholls State University. They're coming to play the Tigers. That's where they are, in Thibodaux. There you see Metro Baton Rouge, or Metro New Orleans, I should say, Laplace, Louisiana. There's I-10, and then there's I-10 that crosses the lake up to Slidell. We'll take a live view there in just a moment. But I can tell you where the strongest wind is going to be, and it's going to be on the outside of what we call the eye. That's the eye of the storm. There's no rain happening in there right now. It's totally calm. The sun is out. Crazy phenomenon. If you've never seen it, it is wild. The sun will come out, the wind will stop, and then the second half hits you. But right in that area that I've circled, that's where the heaviest rain and the strongest wind is happening right now. And I'll tell you exactly how strong we're thinking here. We'll switch over to our velocity mode. This is the wind speed. You see some of those bright colors in there. 78 mile an hour winds, 81 in there, a little closer to Laplace. 128 miles an hour, folks. That is crazy, 130. And so again, right in that area that I circled, destructive winds happening right now in southeastern Louisiana. Let's zoom out just a little bit. We're not going to focus too much on this because I also want to get onto the impacts of what is happening and what is going to happen a little bit later on here in Memphis. But again, very strong storm, and it's moving off to the north and west. So that is going to put it toward Gonzales, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, within the next couple of hours. They are going to be getting it rough here pretty soon. So it is going to be a bad situation, and in fact it already is. We've got several reports of damage in New Orleans. Notice how far away they are from the eye. It's still bad out there. Damage in the French Quarter, all kind of mess out there. So it is no good. And I want to zoom out and just show you the scale of this storm. Basically from Baton Rouge to Gulf Shores, seeing impacts from this storm right now as it moves off to the north and west. Okay, so that's what's happening right now. Let's get an idea of what is going to be going on a little bit later. Before I get to that, though, I want to show you this because this is crazy. If you watched the news at 5, you saw this. This is, or was, it might have frozen. This was a live camera from New Orleans. This was the bridge you take from New Orleans to Slidell, Louisiana, across the lake. I'm not seeing any motion on this camera. The camera might have died. The camera might have blown away. We were showing it at 5 o'clock and the camera was shaking so violently. And believe it or not, folks, we had folks driving up and down the bridge, which was crazy to me. We had wind gusts of 100 miles an hour in Baton Rouge and New Orleans, I should say, not Baton Rouge just yet. But we had cars driving up and down the causeway, which is wild. And I could not believe that, but folks were out there doing it. Hopefully they were first responders and not just folks trying to get a look at the storm, because that is just wild. Here's the latest forecast path for you. This will take just a second to load. There you go. So right now, Category 3, Category 4 borderline storm. It's going to bring it into Baton Rouge tonight as a Category 1, winds of 75 miles an hour. And then it's going to follow up the Mississippi River. Jackson feeling impacts tomorrow afternoon. And then we here in Memphis in the Mid-South are going to get impacts late tomorrow into Tuesday morning before it heads up into Tennessee, possibly, unfortunately, dumping more heavy rain in places like Waverly that just saw 17 inches of rain in a day. So for the morning commute tomorrow, we're going to start out with a few showers, better chance of rain the further on you go. So by 8 a.m., 9 a.m., that's a better chance of rain for you. And then especially into the afternoon tomorrow, again, this is here in Memphis, best chance of rain after lunchtime. And that continues all the way through the evening, overnight, and into Tuesday morning. So it is going to be a long stretch. Again, Monday morning to Tuesday morning, heavy rain, the biggest concern, gusty winds certainly possible. Tornadoes, can't rule them out. Luckily, it's a low-end threat, but it's something we will be watching very carefully. Here's our rain forecast: 2 to 4 inches for North Mississippi, 1 to 2 inches for Memphis and West Tennessee, and then less than an inch in Arkansas. In fact, some folks in Arkansas might not see a whole lot of anything. The further east this track goes, the fewer folks in Arkansas will see anything. There, 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts Monday and Tuesday, a little bit higher down in North Mississippi, 30 to 40. Now, keep in mind, with all the rain that's happened, you get a 40 mile an hour wind gust, it's easier to take a tree down, it's easier to get power outages. So that's something we're going to be watching. And then again, brief tornadoes possible mainly in North Mississippi Monday night and Tuesday. These are usually quick, these are usually brief tornadoes. They're usually not very strong, but it's still something that we're going to watch very carefully. And I want to leave you with this. I want to walk you through the hour-by-hour forecast. We've got some storms out there now. Those will continue through 10 p.m. or so. So if you're headed out tonight, be aware you might see a little rain out there. Check this out. By noon tomorrow, already getting some rain here in the metro area. And it just keeps going. 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12, it just keeps going all the way through Tuesday morning. It looks like Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., we will finally start to see some of that rain move out. But again, best chance of rough weather is going to be Monday afternoon, 1 or 2 p.m., which is tomorrow, through late Monday night or early Tuesday morning. So download that Local 24 News app. It's totally free for Apple and Android. We'll have the notifications there. We'll have our live stream there with the latest. But again, tomorrow afternoon through Tuesday morning, some rough weather, heavy rain, flash flooding, and gusty winds, maybe even a brief tornado. But we'll be here watching things. We've got around-the-clock coverage from now until Tuesday afternoon, until this thing is out of here. Someone will be here watching things for you. And of course, we'll be live if anything major is happening. But for now, we're going to send you back. I'm going to hop off live. Our next newscast coming up on CW30 News at 9, also on Local 24 News at 10. We'll also have another live update on Facebook and the mobile app coming up at 7 p.m. and again at 8. So be sure to join us for that. But for right now, if you're not going to check back on live, we'll see you back here on CW30.